A combination lock is in a sequence of each of the first dial must be set. The mechanism, the second, the third dial bears this. One last dial remains. The final dial clicks. Silence. The hatch doesn't budge. The hatch is firm. A sequence of each of the first, the mechanism, the second, the third, one, the final, silence.
Don't waste your time here.
The plaque reads, a combination lock is in a sequence of each of the first dial must be set. The second dial has the same. The mechanism clicks once again. The third dial another click. One last silence. The hatch doesn't budge. A sequence of each of the first dial must be. The second dial has the third dial bears the same. Another click. One last dial. Silence. The hatch. A sequence. Each of the first dial. The second dial has the third dial bear. One last dial remains. Silence. The hatch doesn't budge. The hatch.
Often the strongest locks hide the darkest secrets.
I've spotted something. Careful! I've spotted a trap. More Magister trickery. They must have many secrets to go to all these lengths. That didn't sound successful. Look out! I see a trap nearby. Careful now, that's a trap. I've spotted something. I've spotted something. That didn't sound sick. Look out! I see a trap nearby. Oh, lucky find. I've spotted something. Locked.
What's this? I found something.
There's some mechanism at work behind these walls. Careful! I've spotted a trap. Careful! I've spotted a trap. Careful now. That's a trap. Careful! I've spotted a trap.
What are the Magisters hiding?
Oh, lucky find.
The spirit of a Magister stares at you with undisguised venom.
Your time is over, Godwa.
Raymond's spirit smiles. The fanatical gleam in his eyes makes him look almost alive once more. The spirit of a white Magister tips...
to it or get moving. It's the busiest day of the year.
I serve all who seek aid, ma'am.
Void woken attacks increase. Citizens warned to be alert. Dwarven wedding interrupted by void woken. Brave dwarf party on.
I heard that the paladins killed unarmed magisters. Didn't even let them surrender.
Not too loud. What do you think the paladins would do to us if they heard you going wrong like that?
Parks are still a free city, last time I checked.
Dwarven royal
There's
stands.
bodies in the streets. This place isn't free, not anywhere.
I welcome newcomers and natives alike.
No one's ever regretted having extra help in a fight. I'll guarantee you that. Allies for hire.
You must truly savor my company, Godwoken. Something you wanted? You must truly savor my company, Godwoken. Would you rush perfection? It will be ready when it's ready.
Tarquin's jaw tightens.
I dabble in all forms of learning, necromancy included. Can you really blame me for being talented? Can you really blame me when I'm forced to use my skills against my will? Who are you to judge me? Weren't you willingly trying to help those leeches? Those so-called gods? Their lust for power is the root of all misery in this world. But yes, I did it. I ushered Brachus Rex, the mad sorcerer king, back into the land of the living. I hope you'll admit that.
Dallas willed it, and I was in no position to refuse. She wanted to use Brachus to sniff out the Aeteran, to use a tyrannical king as a personal bloodhound, so she could get her hands on the most powerful purging device the world's ever seen.
She thinks she can control him. She is wrong. A creature like him will find a way to break his shackles. He must be eradicated. That's why I sought the pieces of anathema. It's the only thing that can slay him. What could possibly best the greatest act of necromancy ever performed? Reversing it. That's what. Here, take anathema and keep it close. You must truly savor my company, Godwoken. Something you wanted?
You see yourself in the mirror. It's quite a sight. The list in the records is a long one. It bears many familiar names. People you met, people you fought, people who were kind to you. Most, it seems, you will never see again.
A list of the damned. Perhaps their loved ones will be inspired to seek revenge.
I mean, some of them might have made it, right? Maybe if we put an end to all this, we might meet them again.
Don't waste your time here.
The spirit continues to stand by and scowl at the ransacked barracks.
Damn it! That cheapskate owed me gold. Oh, Brant.
Dallas, you snake. Where are you hiding?
It was you who sent us the war owl. Without you, the black ring-loving magisters would still be in charge. I suppose you have earned the right to involve yourself in paladin business. Just this once. All this is thanks to you, you know. If we hadn't found out what the Whites were doing in the Black Pits, we wouldn't have known that they had to be stopped. I am in your debt. What the hell are you talking about? Never heard of her. Now, please, take your lies someplace.
important here. The whites must have surely taken it.
I advise you to take your slanderous fabrication.
Well, hello, gorgeous. Care to hear about the power of cheese?
She looks you up and down, then...
What's on my mind? Why, texture, maturity, taste. But most of all, I'm wondering what tickles your fancy. Look at, am I right? So I have not misjudged you. Now, we've established how you feel about power. How do you feel about law? Specifically laws relating to property and the acquisition of goods. Look, I'm just trying to sell cheese here. I don't... The pleasure is mine. Well, hello,
She looks you up.
What's on my... Am I right? So I have not misjudged you. Now, we've established how you feel about power.
A glint appears in her eye, and she smiles. Then she raises her hands and shows you her rings.
Perhaps this is the power you seek. I've been waiting for the right customer to come along for these, but I warn you, power doesn't come cheap. Are they stolen? Darling, what power isn't? I have my little helpers, here, there, and everywhere, who bring me things that they have found. After all, no one has as many. The pleasure was mine. I like my men the way I like my cheese.
Several bystanders are suddenly engulfed by smoke and flame. Flesh melts, bone reshapes, black eyes glare, and fanged maws hiss sulphurously.
The doctor sends his ill wishes. You killed his advocate. Now...
Can you believe this school was teeming with students just a year ago? Everything changed so fast.
I've had just about enough of... Oh, 1,000 apologies. This place is already overrun with addicts and orphans, and now I've got to deal with... What? A candied salamander?
The woman shakes her head and sighs.
I should stop caring so much, but the kids shouldn't suffer. They don't deserve this void-infested hellhole we're handing to them.
She swats your hand away with a harumph.
Tough, yes. And they don't get any better if I talk about things I'd rather forget. Well, I suppose it wouldn't hurt to talk about things a little. This place, it used to be a school. My husband Griff and I, we taught the local kids what we could. History, politics, writing, reading. A little cooking, a little alchemy. The parents paid what they could. It was enough. Now it's this. I'm stuck scrubbing Lady Kem's filthy floors in exchange for coin most days. And I don't have the energy to shoo away the junkies that wander in. You know him? Was he holding up okay? That sounds like Griff, all right. I'm telling you, if he were here, he'd have this place cleaned up in no time. If the squatters were gone, I could start fresh. Scour the place down, get the school going again. Get out from under Lady Kem's posh thumb. No, I don't cotton to violence. There are other ways. I'm sure you'll find one.
Beryl hums a few random notes, just a few. But in those notes, you discern a crumb of hope.
Path. March for Lucian, flicker imps. He will guide us there to the star.
Mrs. Griff still lets me come over and play, as long as I don't run off too far. Sometimes we do our ABCs.
The clock ticks to our fine breath, twinkle bombs. But Lucy...
There's an air about this.
dare say.
March for Lucian, Flicker Imps. He will guide us there to the Star Hall. The flock can carry. Look over there. Shiny light. Do you see them? The mist steps. Each one is an echo of Lucian's dreams. Pray be his. They lead through the silver puffs and into the hall.
She bows towards nothing in particular and fingers the collar of her priestly garb, then looks at you with dark, sunken eyes.
I am blessed, Red Sunburst, by Drudene and Divinity. I glide on Lucian's breath and feed on his sighs and smiles. For him I would walk the path of blood. I'm not like the Cat Lord, our Hulu. He slinks around and under and over and inside. He would skim the path and miss the blood.
The priest raises her head and screams to the ceiling.
Lucian, my wings are ready. I will flap and flit-flop when your words go blue. Our Hulu does not deserve your warm. I hear he avoids Lucian's Toughmaker, the path of blood. He is a defiler of Lucian's will, Shine Beast. The crypt waits for only divine, devout, devoted. It is not an easy make trial. Bypass the blood and Lucian brings the rumble. Skyquakes across the heavens, what Lucian said. Punishment for the easy walk.
The priest waves her arms through the air, drawing your attention to these non-existent skyquakes. She traces a circle on the floor with her left foot, then shakes her head. You're stymied by the foot gesture, but the head shake is more than clear.
Yes. Your voice. His voice. It makes the airdrops quiver. I am called to the cathedral. I will travel there anon. Clouds should twinkle, as Lucian commanded them. Come, fireflies, he calls us elsewhere.
So, how's the addict eviction going? Is that... Wait, really? They're gone? That's good news. Maybe our hard work wasn't all for nothing then. Is there anything I can do to show my thanks?
She pauses and tightens her lips. A moment passes, and then another. She smiles.
Well, at the risk of saying something I shouldn't, that whole mansion is weird. She sits in that drawing room serving tea all day. As for him, well, he doesn't even sleep in the same room as his wife. He has his own bedroom, does Kem, and it's always locked. He's got secrets, you see. Trapdoors and ladders. Where they lead, I don't know, but his wife knows nothing about them. Anyway, you've certainly been a breath of fresh air. You're no Griff, but it's been good having you around.
I've spotted something.
Scan! Environment! Receive! Employment! Breaker! Approach! Deactivating!
A curious-looking puppet stands motionless nearby. You can feel a measure of source inside the puppet, coiling around its mechanisms. You suddenly realize it's looking up at you with an expression of alarm.
Please, leave me. I mean no harm. Not anymore. They gave me too much life. More than the others. They did not see that we were in a bad place. But I did. So I fled. There are many others. They are less like me. They bear less life. They are content to kill any who enter the bad place. Our room of death. To prevent others from reaching one who is already dead. There are other rooms, all to protect a corpse. And above, a great hall of weepers and chanters. You call it source. They put it in me so I could watch, so I could kill. But they put in too much. I feel too much. I do not want to kill. There are many levers. Most spell death, but a select few spell power. Seek power to seek freedom. This is what our design dictates. Master engraved it upon us at birth. Hiding location compromised. Seeking new refuge opportunities.
Hey, everything okay?
Weirdos in the cellar chase me away. You believe that? I don't. And I tried my best purring and my best meowing. I even did the slink thing against their legs. No luck.
I've seen a few traders about the place.
Business doesn't stop for long round here.
They say the Divine withers our lands to save Rivellon. I see he is successful.
The proprietress gives you a sweet smile.
You look like someone who's ready for business. You look like someone with an eye for the main chance. You look like someone who needs an investor. I knew it the moment you walked in here. Here comes an enterprising fellow, I said to myself. Here comes a man who could take a sum of gold and turn his mind to turning a profit. I could... Whatever you're up to in the fine upstanding city of Arx, jewel of Lucian's blessed domain, I'd like to back you, financially speaking. But be warned, I demand security. You must make a deposit. And I always Rick. You understand, I'm sure. Will there be anything else? How much do you need? Are you sure? How much do you need? Are you? You look like I bid you.
She smiles.
Trade or credit? That's right. Trade or credit.
Ugh, this place stinks.
What's this?
I've spotted something.
I found something.
No new patients being accepted at this time.
What's this? I found something. I've spotted something.
Oh, wonderful, sir. Such hefty volumes these are. I shall need to commission... Greetings. I am Cranley Hubert. I assume no further introduction is required. Oh, come now. Surely you've heard of my writing, or my work with the Historical Guild of Arcs? No? I think not. Perhaps I should show to you just how far below me you stand in intellect. Think of it as a lesson in humility. Let's see. 3 major houses govern the ancient empire. There's the House of Law, the House of War. Now, what's the third? No, no, no. I'm afraid that my reservoir of knowledge remains the deepest. Now, perhaps you'd like to return... Do you mind? No, no, no. Now perhaps... No, no, no. Now perhaps... Do you mind? I'm sure there's a puddle somewhere outside for you to play in. Well, that was a rather straightforward one. You'd have to be an utter dolt to have not heard of the House of Dreams. Another question, then. In what year was our saviour, Lucian the Divine, taken from us? Incorrect. Now, perhaps you'd like to return outside and consort with those who have intellectual stamina more on par with your own, yes? I'm quite... Do you mind? I'm sure there's a puddle somewhere outside for you to play in. Incorrect. Incorrect. Now, perhaps you'd like to return outside and consort... Correct. Perhaps I'm still being too easy on you. Any drunk on the street could have gotten that right. Time for a real challenge. Name the first king of the dwarves. Clearly you have had some modicum of education in your time. One final question. Answer this correctly, and you can consider yourself a scholar on par with yours truly. Fail, and I shall have to show you my door. The Sorcerer King from times of yore, Brachus Rex, had a twin. What was that? Well. I must confess, your knowledge is impressive. Please, allow me to invite you to join me in my private chambers for further intellectual discourse. Excellent. Please, come along. Quite simple, once you know the trick. You place a book onto the pile, and a hatch at the back of the fireplace is unlocked. Go on down. I'll be right behind you. Beyond my sanctum, true intellect flourishes best in the dark, don't you think? My sanctum, my intellectual womb, my palace of the mind. Welcome, and make yourself comfortable. Pray tell me, what's the darkest, most delicious nugget of knowledge you've come across in your time?
With a mischievous twinkle in his eye, Cranley glances from you to some nearby skill books, rare ones. He raises an eyebrow. Impress him, and we might win a prize, it seems. Cranley Hubert's eyes bulge with amazement.
Oh, I do. And please, let's not be so formal. Down here, call me Gigi.
He gestures absently for you to select from the skill books as your reward. It seems that the poor fellow is quite taken aback by what you told him. Without another word, he wanders away from you, deep in... Cranley Hubert barely notices.
To think that some people value baubles and trinkets over books. Absurd.
Why, sir, you smell divine. Do you eat?
Clear off. Need to keep the way clear. Ain't no getaway happening here, and if there is, I ain't involved. Get it? Good. Now clear off. You're in the way. Ain't no one going nowhere, far as you're concerned. Now clear off. You're in the way.
I build a wall and ain't not...
Move along. Nothing to see here. None of your concern. If you've got business here, go to the main entrance around the corner. Otherwise, clear off. On your way. Have you heard a word that I said? No entry. Now clear off or I'll escort you.
Oh, my darling. My sweet, sweet darling. I do worry about her. I hope she's safe. I hope they're treating her well.
A well-dressed dwarf woman lies on the cobbles, giggling drunkenly to herself.
I wish I was bloody homeless. Then I'd be home already. No, I was at a wedding. Beggars kicked me out. Said I was causing a scene. Usual fuss. The groom's a local alchemist, marrying the daughter of some big-shot merchant. Invitation only, I'm afraid. They'd hardly kick out their own flesh and blood, would they? I barely know any of them. Friends of business acquaintances. Eh? No. Why would I do that? Fine, fine. Take the bloody thing. Now, off with you. I can feel a void walking of a headache coming along.
On your way. This gate's to be kept clear.
Move along there.
The store is open.
Welcome, my esteemed and esteemable friend. Come in, my esteemed and esteemable friend. Come in! Yes, the wedding. Alas, alas, I am not invited, and that is perfectly acceptable, for you see, the market must stay open. The money wheel keeps turning, and my employer has a wedding to pay for. My most estimable friend, I have the greatest range of items of the highest quality, and only for you. It's pretty good stuff, you're gonna like it, I promise.
First wedding I've missed.
Of course, and please do come again. I mean it, come again. I'll look after you, my friend.
How's the potion business going?
Mixed.
Very funny.
The dwarf stares grimly into space. On his fingers he wears rings, some of which have ornate, rose-tinted jewels on them. You notice one has a gem missing.
What? I swear I'm in no mood to meet more of my wife's business associates. I've shaken hands with enough fishmongers today. Yes, it's a fine match. With her assets and my name, that is to say, would be a power.
He glances over at his smiling bride as she takes another sip from her goblet.
Yes, indeed. Quite powerful. Love? Duna's beard. Is that what passes for sense among the lower classes? She's quite enamored with me, of course. I can be, well, irresistible. But no. In my family, marriage is a more practical matter. Our union means I can continue my work. A job? Oh, please don't be churlish. I'm no dairymaid desperate for her next meal. I follow my passion. Potions, which at a sip can heal or kill, can grant strength, speed, or compliance, which have the power to transform base metal into gold.
He glances across the room, where his betrothed is cheerfully pouring herself another goblet of wine.
Although for now I'll have to settle for using base people rather than metal. And how dare you judge me for my actions? What I do here today ensures the survival of my house. It ensures the survival of my work, and I would not give a dog's bark for your opinions. Now leave me be. I would choose the Voidwoken over this company.
My lord, I beg your pardon, but the feast has been cut short due to act of gods.
Can't say I know that face. You must be one of my husband's noble friends.
She tries to curtsy from her seat, but it's clumsy and awkward. As she looks up, you notice a pale pink shade in her eyes, along with a deep scarlet blush spreading across her cheek.
Blast! I was sure I'd got the hang of that. Who could be happy on a day like this? My beloved and I are finally together, but before we can even cut the cake, there's void woken everywhere. We barely made it in here alive. Thank Duna my husband is okay, though. We're not up to anything. We're merchants, not mystics. If you want source, talk to Kem and his bloody paladins. They're the ones to blame. They're bad as the Black Ring, bringing this down on us. My sweet husband could have been killed. It was beautiful. We said our vows, tied the ceremonial knot. The priestess was just finishing her sermon when these things appeared. It looked like they were wriggling out of the ground below us. And then they started killing. The priestess, my family, my friends. If not for well, it's not like I have much else to do for the time being but chat. Thank you kindly. I may not have been lucky in the ceremony, but I'm blessed with my husband.
She turns and waves timidly to the man on the balcony behind her, her husband, who offers an apathetic grunt in return.
Ah, see there? I've nabbed me a fine man and no mistake. Oh, aye. It's just the rosy tint of a woman in love. My darling says 'tis to be expected. He says it'll pass after the wedding, though I hope it never does. Oh, that's just his way. Sometimes he won't talk to me for days. I know he loves me, though. He's always making me drinks to keep me healthy, even if he ain't in the mood to natter.
Celebration's over. Best
He looks you up and down.
wherever that might be. The garden, behind me. But you best know what you'll be seeing there. Corpses and the like. Voidwoken aren't known for leaving things tidy. First day at work.
Move on, please.
Why, yes, thank you. Indeed, it would have been a beautiful ceremony for my Isla. Terrible tragedy, I know, and Uncle Paul so recently retired. Very good of you to come. Safe travels home now. Bye-bye. Ah, terribly sorry. I mistook you for a guest. The Emporium is downstairs, if you please. Ta. Yes, a dreadful affair. Voidwoken of all things, and my poor Isla on her special day. Now, I do wish you all the best, and thanks ever so much for making the trip.
He interrupts you by introducing his palm to your face.
Be sure to close the doors behind you as you leave, which I trust will be any moment now. If you really want to help, you could grab a few chalices and box them up good and tight. But since the only thing I see you grabbing is my attention, I'd rather you skedaddle. Don't worry, there's no rush. I'm simply inviting you to vacate my place of residence and to do so with proper haste. You've been proven a friend to Duna's spawn, so from one friend to another, I say, get out of Arx. Leave it far behind and never look back. I can't say why, but trust me, just do it. All right, look, just get out of Arx. Leave it far behind and never turn back. I can't say why, but trust me, do it. Say what you like, do what you like. My lips are sealed. If Her Majesty found out Oh, shite.
Mikhail bites his lip in an effort to keep it from flapping further.
We're both busy men. Why don't you get busy somewhere else while I stay busy here?
You've come to serve, yes? Excellent. Bring me my slippers. Chop chop. Do hurry. My hooves are shivering from the chill. Ah, yes.
I smell.
You recognize the trumpet. This is the dwarven bard Redolent, as famous for the strength and power of his breath as he was for its terrible odor. The stone smells of granite and rose. The statue still...
So much death on such a lovely day.
Come on, throw it! This bouquet's mine. Get in my way and you'll get an elbow in the eye.
The spirit of a dwarven lady stands eagerly by, as if she's waiting to catch a bouquet. The spirit shoos you away absently, her gaze fixed intently on the arc that the bouquet is taking through the air. The spirit of a dwarf guard patrols the garden. The spirit of a dwarven attendee attempts to discreetly sip from a goblet of spectral wine. The spirit of an elven dignitary remains seated in a pew.
This bouquet's mine.
The spirit of an elegantly dressed woman glances around, seemingly more interested in the other guests. The spirit of a dwarf watches the ceremony with a scowl. He tugs at his ornate collar in an effort to loosen it. The spirit of a dwarven lady remains rapt by the since-interrupted wedding ceremony. She dabs away some tears with a handkerchief. The spirit of a guard gazes around the garden's stone.
This bouquet's mine. Get in my way and you'll get an elbow in the eye. This bouquet's mine. Get in my way and you'll get an elbow in the eye.
Boys. They're alive, and they look hostile. Time to play.
You? What in Dinnet? Did you make this God's blessed mess? It came from the doctor, with a letter of congratulation. It was truly a magnificent sight, but the wedding was cut short before we could ever slice it. Explosive wind-ups, you see. Voidwoken. Sabotage. You think someone had it in for our little lady? Few have seen his face, and none know his name. He corresponds only by scroll and messenger. We seldom speak of him, except in whisper and midnight scare stories. He'll open your belly and fill it with jelly. The doctor is in. The doctor is in. He'll rip off your toes and shove them up your nose. The doctor is in. The doctor is in. You chant that one after the bell tolls midnight, and someone's bound to scream. There's little to tell. We don't know his surname or lineage, his desires or dreams. He speaks to few, and few wish to speak of him. It's easiest if I show you. Let me see your map.
He shakes his head and whistles as he identifies the doctor's home on your map.
Look, I don't believe much in spooks and spectres. The shadowed house on the eastern cliff. Don't expect a warm welcome. You're leaving already? A shame.
Get in my way and you'll get an elbow in the eye.
The statue still smells. You recognize the trumpet. This must be Redolent the Bard, as famous for the... The dwarf rubs his temple.
What? I bet you heard. I bet everyone is talking about this cursed wedding. Perhaps my warhorse of an aunt is right. Perhaps this is what I get for debasing myself. Still, what's done is done. The marriage is final. That's the important thing.
The groom turns back to the window with a grunt, anxiously twisting the rings on his fingers.
of junk.
It got damaged in the fighting. It'll fix up just fine. I serve all who seek aid, ma'am. I welcome you.